Wonderful night of painting here on the Warboss Fitz channel. We're doing a little bit of live streaming, and tonight we are going to be painting the first unit of. Oh, as I knocked everything over, we're going to be painting the first unit of Human Defense Force bikes, or just bikes in general, for a custom army that I had set up for another YouTube creator. They're a Patreon, so this is all kosher. But I've made them a custom army, and I have been scouring the internet for bikes. Probably a year ago is when we came up with this idea, and I was looking for bikes all across the STLs everywhere, and I couldn't find any that I liked. So finally, with these, after I painted a few of these for the army I did last week, I'm like, ooh, I like these. So what we are going to do, these guys, we're going to do kind of the basic Human Defense Force color scheme. Good evening, Tanzagor lover. So it's going to be like a tan undersuit with green armor. It's kind of like the Cadians look like for 40K, with a little twist. Hey, Tabletop Date Night, how you doing? So for our undersuit, we're going to use Pallid Bone. Yes, I know, I use Pallid Bone in everything. It is an awesome color. Howdy, Sauntering Spellcaster. And then for the green, we're going to use Burnt Moss. We're going to do kind of a darker gray green. Yeah, blackish green gray for the armor. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to turn out, but we're going to send it. And so let's go ahead and start with that. Do I want to start with that? Yeah, let's go ahead and start with that for the armor panels. This is a mostly full jug, and we are just going to give it a touch. Just a touch, if I can find my dropper, of the Flow Aid. Just do it one more. There we go. Yeah. If you overpaint with contrast, it is a pain in the butt. Unless, you kind of... There's some theory to it that I kind of am making up. It's just hard for me to explain. It's if you have colors that are the same kind of... I don't know what I want to call it. The same feel, the same color, body, you can kind of run them together, and it's not terrible. Okay. Ooh, I like this color. Ooh, we should zoom in just a hair. There. I don't know when the update happened, but thank you, YouTube. I don't give everyone a headache when I do the zoom now. So, what do we got to talk about tonight? What could possibly be on everybody's minds? Did you H? It is burnt moss. Did I get lots of rain over the weekend? We got no rain over the weekend. This weekend I was stuck in a basement. But it was a fun kind of stuck in a basement. I had my tournament this last weekend. And it was so good. I loved it. Milwaukee's underwater. Yeah, we could definitely use some of that here. Hey, it's Ranaholic. How are you doing? Yes, the dwarves do paint up in a short time. Turn it down just a hair. So yeah, we had our tournament over the weekend, and it was great. We had, overall, we had 10 people playing. I was not counted to play. I did not play a single game this weekend, and that's the way I wanted it. I just wanted to be their referee and running around just in the vibes of what was going on. I have to black bomb my centipede so I can spit. Oh, all right. It was a Grimdark Future tournament. Did I already hit that? I think I already hit that, but let's try again. Yeah, I did already hit that. Yeah, it was Grimdark Future, and the rules I'd set up for it was that you could mix your armies. Like, you could do allied forces, the 60-40 split. And a couple people took advantage of that. Quite a lot of good armies there. It's real funny, we had 2 armies that were based on the Iron Hive from the Maker's Cult. Just random. What came out on top was the Alien Hives. And it was one of the local guys here, James. He's the one that won the tournament. And it's real funny because my 2 local guys that were at the tournament, I tried to keep them apart, like in the beginning of the pairings. I put them as far apart as I could. But then in round 3, I looked at the pairings. I'm like, of course, it's you 2 knuckleheads that end up fighting each other. So the last round, it was Alien Hives versus the Wolf Brothers on the top table. And the way it worked out, the Wolf Brother player, Alan, he ended up coming in third because on the second table was the guy who I painted, Spaceman Coco, the one I painted the army for last week. He piloted that excellently. And he ended up winning his third game, and the reason why he came in second was because in his first game he all but tabled his opponent and got every possible victory point. And he was the only one that did that. So, overall, it was a real good day. we definitely had some hiccups. Definitely had some hiccups. So the day of, I don't know if you guys are on the Discord channel and you get to see all the things I was posting on the day. The where we had our parking that was going to be over at the college, they decided that day, they were like, no, we're going to tow cars. Like, what in the hell? So, I was out there before it started playing traffic cop. And then, where we were playing, the air conditioner broke. So I ended up scrambling, getting a few fans and putting them down in the basement there. We were going to go for a fourth round, but it was so humid down there, and with the air pushing, it wasn't keeping up with everything, that the floor started to sweat. To a point where I'm like, just walking around the tables, I was slipping around. So I'm like, yeah, let's just make it 3 rounds. This way that, no one has to go to the hospital. I don't want that for my first tournament. Yes, these do look pretty good with the burnt moss. So, there we go. And there's supposed to be 7 of these, but here I get to show you a print fail. For some reason, this tire just did not want to print. And then, of course, half the body. So, it just means I get to print more. Yay. Every time I print an army, I always end up having like 1 or 2 extra plates at the end that are just like final stuff that failed. And with my Mars, I almost never got a fail, but with this Saturn, I usually get, like, we're normally like a 90% success rate with that. Yes, I did pull the Lust Demons round 2. That is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm not complaining, especially with such a big plate. Like this army is all bikers, and I think it's only 5 plates to begin with. So if I got to print the 6th one, that's fine. Yeah, what he's talking about there, pulling the Lust Demons, is the pairings for round 2 of Nexus's Planar versus Age of Fantasy Regiments tournament released, and it is my angry naked baby dwarfs fighting against a massive amount of Lust Demons. We're going to see just how killy I can make my 4 Magma Drakes and two rifle squads. Yeah, what's the round 2 scenario? It's just like taking hold of center point and then was it table quarters? So, taking and holding the center point, I think I can do that successfully. It's the table quarter part that's going to be rough because my whole army is only 6 units. But they are 6 very, very killy units. I'm just going to have to try to like brute force them. Yeah, well, there are going to be more tournaments in the future. This one was really good. Like I've run 40K tournaments in the past. Ooh. Yeah, I've run 40K tournaments in the past, but this is the first one that, like, we did everything because I couldn't find a store to host us. So we are going to be looking for a shop for the next one. But you know, it's real. Everyone says it was a great tournament, and that just makes me feel good because it was the first one we've ever done where we did everything. We had the tables, we had the terrain. I made the prize support. I made trophies, or well, plaques. We had 4 guys come up from Ohio, so they came away to come and play with us. And one guy, it was so funny. He was talking to he was telling us about how he was talking to his wife. Like, yeah, I'm going to Flint, Michigan to go hang out in somebody's basement. So I would love to go to Central Florida, but one day when I start making buku YouTube money, I will definitely travel around to different tournaments. Or I will run them in different places. Oh, the perfect local game store to host. Well, hello, Kelvin. How are you doing tonight? Well, for you, that's one hell of a trek, Terrainaholic. I mean, if I had people coming from as far away as you are, I'm like, man, I got to perform some magic or something here. Is this all his stuff? Oh, helmet. I almost forgot his helmet. Oh yeah, that was entirely the focus. I did get talked off the ledge for a few things. I was like, I want this to be wild. I want to come out and just yell out in some round and be like, at this round, rending doesn't work. Mwahaha. They're like, no, you can't do them. I'm like, all right, fine. Fine. You do the beer round. Yes. shots after each turn. Oh, God. You know, back in the day when we used to have fun playing 40K, that was something we would do, is play Beer Hammer. And then if you finished your beer, you could put, as soon as you finish your beer, you could put it down on the table as a piece of terrain. Block line of sight. There was many charges that were blocked by shotgunning some natural light. But your Terminators can't charge me. There's a can in the way. Wow. Hell, I did that at our Frontline Gaming tournament. What happened to those guys? They've gotten all stodgy and like corporate. Exactly. You can save your troops for a turn, but you're gonna be paying for it later. Well, see, here's the trick to that. Just play orcs. My decision making usually got better the more I drank. Yeah. Yep, all of a sudden you get the orc power of suggestion. Yes, I will charge that target. That's a great idea. Yes. It always seems to work out. Trying to slur the complicated science names was a struggle. Yes, I can see that if you're playing Necrons, trying to use technobabble. Does not compute. Yeah, I did get an early start tonight because I got enthusiastic. I wanted to just start on these guys. Yep, they're resin bases. Ding, ding. Yeah, I started making my own resin bases because you can get cheap enough bases online, but I need volume of bases, and I would run through some of my armies. I'd run through 100 in a week, and I would never anticipate the number of bases I would need until I run out, and I go, crap. Yeah, FDM bases work just fine as well. But me and my FDM printer have a love-hate relationship. I hate working with it, and it loves to screw me. Of course, it's probably because I don't take care of it like I should. Well, like when I did my Human Defense Force Armored Company, where I had all the tanks and stuff, I printed, what did I print? I printed 7 tanks on there, and that took me 2 weeks to actually get those printed, just because of the amount of failures I would have. All red green. I haven't seen that in a while. It does sound like something he would say. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I bought my FDM printer right before the Bamboo came out. So it wasn't available when I was looking for it. And I tell you, this one's been such a pain in the butt. I'm like, I could just resin print stuff. Fine. I don't need no damn FDM printer. The amount of times I would wake up to just spaghetti. Like, alright, we'll do it again. Right. Get this guy once over because he's my last of this color. Oop, there we go. Right. Well, okay. So what's the order? This is the order I take things in, right? Like, keep them in the same order so that way I know that when I get to something, it's dry. So let's go in for that. Oof. You know, I had the same struggle with the Saturn IV. It took probably 2 weeks to get this thing up and running. And it took some hard-headed engineering on my end and just repetition to get it to a point where it's printing good now. Okay, it's not terrible looking. Alright, let's just do the rest of these to see how it comes out. One of my favorite quotes from Red Green. It doesn't matter how, don't worry about how it looks. We're going to paint this a fine color of fire engine red. Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. What one's for everybody? What is your favorite special rule? Alright guys, I want to hear what you guys have to say first. What is your favorite special rule in one-page rules? Okay, poison. Poison's a good one. I think I'll say my favorite special rule has to be Furious. Because I like rolling dice. There you go. Rending, that's another good choice. That was on my short list of things, too. The Wolf Brothers rule. The counterattack, the bullshit rule. I'm going to go through and hit all their boots first, and then we'll go back with the same color for the belts. All right. Yes, I am a big fan of the Double Furious. I think anything that can really generate more hits. So Furious, Overload, Predator, stuff like that. Oop, come on. Yeah, that's something too I had fun witnessing this weekend, was the different play styles that people have. Yeah. There's a couple armies that were designed just to sit back and shoot at stuff, and you know, in my orc mind, I'm like, that's a completely foreign thing. The fight's over there. Go punch him in the mouth. really doesn't have much of a belt you can see there. Where is it? Is that right there? Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so that's all the belts done. Whoa, wait. Not all the belts. I've got the actual bike itself has some belts on these guys. Oh yeah. I missed a couple of these here. Right, yeah. I just like all the bikes that One Page Rules been coming out with, I like them. Because they're all, after looking at other STLs for bikes, they're all proportional. Because there are a lot of them where either the bike feels way too small, which I know is probably more real to life, or the bikes are these huge, monstrous things. But these seem to just be the right size. Alright. Now we're going to go in for our next brown color, which is going to be satchel brown. We're going to do all the bags and the like boot knife holders. Yep. Yeah, they just seem right. Like here, I'll show you the like when I was coming up with ideas for bikes before. Like this is over a year ago when I found these, but like here was one of the bikes that I found. It just didn't. I just didn't like it, and I even had to like 3D kit bash on handlebars and stuff because like the handlebars were mounted to the guys who were riding the bikes who were far too big. So these are pretty darn good. They look like something that would be the right size for a recon unit. This guy's just got one little bag. Whoop. Oh, he hit the ground. There we go. He hit the concrete. He's all good. All right. I got the guy who's playing the Lust Demons just sent me a message. Hey, when are we going to play this game? I'm like, I'm live streaming. I'll talk to you in a bit. Now, broadsword silver. Let's get in there and do some pipes and bike stuff. And just metallics, not that one. There's my... This pro tip, whenever you're using metallic stuff, have a separate palette for metallics. I've even seen some people go as far as having entirely different like wash, like rinse cup for metallics, just because every time your brush gets in there you get a little bit of flake in your stuff. Yeah, that sounds like a cool design. Binoculars, and then yeah, we're gonna do this all silver for right now. Oh, it's the top of that gas tank. Sorry, we'll do something with that soon. That tire's good. Pipes. Alright. I'm assuming how to use a tire as a gas tank. Wait, let me look at this one again. I hit it. I missed it on this side. If you've ever used a yard roller, it's just like a big black drum that you fill with water to make it heavy. I'm assuming it's the same concept. Like true orc, like true orc bikes. Gotta have your handlebar guns. Last one for the silver. Paint one neon pink. What is with you guys and having me paint pink? Right. Yeah. Pink is not a recon color unless you're doing recon at Victoria's Secret. Now we come to the black. Tell that to the purple horse. Oh, I was trying to explain. My boss was looking at some stuff I had painted, and she was like, "Yeah, recon if you're it's deeply illegal. Ugh. Only if you get caught." And I was trying to explain her the orc color codes. And I was like, "Yeah, yellow means stuff blows up more. Blue means you're lucky, and then purple means the orcs thinks they're invisible." And she just got a kick out of that. Yeah. You're going to go undercover at Victoria's Secret, and there's going to be a purple orc sitting there in the closet next to you going, "Shh, they can't see us." Oh, I touched it. And Gonzo Thunder Warriors. I don't know why that popped in my head, but it's a funny visual. Meep. Before he hits the exterminatus button. Animal is absolutely a chaos marine. He's a corn berserker. The rest of the band are a bunch of noise marines. They're too scared to get rid of him. Here, got to do his handle. There we go. Oh, I just saw that comment. Oscar the Grouch and a Knight's perfect. Still looking for a David Bowie Goblin King STL. Woo! Well, I mean, if you haven't found it yet, it might not exist out there. Might have to go to something like Hero Forge and see if you can't put together some parts to make it. Alright, so that's all the black. Now I just came up with an idea because these are kind of looking a bit flat to me. We're going to give them some speed dry brush. Question is, what am I going to use? I could just use green. Yeah, I could just use green. I almost hear the hesitation on that one. There we go. Light green. Neon. Oh, for God's sakes, neon pink. Now, what brush to do it with? Okay, there's this one. That might work. Okay, get ready to love it or hate it. Didn't really give us the look I was going for, but it's not terrible. I lined it up a little bit there. Maybe I want to line it. God. Alright, come on, Dan, make a decision. We can go with this. Just line the very tops of things. I say as I start lining stuff sideways. That's an idea. Put it next to the other bike. Okay, a little bit more. Just a little bit more of a green instead of this flat gray green I got going on. So we can play around with this a little bit. Hey Scott, how you doing? The tournament was great. It really was. We ended up having 10 people show up, and we all fought it out in a very Thunderdome-like basement. It was very good. Very, very good. James ended up winning the whole thing with his alien hives. I am glad my friends pushed me into it. The next one will be, well, we're talking to some people on that one. Well, we will be talking to some people on that one. It's been 2 days. I'll tell you, I was told I set a hell of a precedent for the first one. So we'll see if I can make the next one even better. All right. Yeah, I was real surprised too. We had 4 people come all the way up from Ohio. And it was hilarious. One of the guys telling us what he told his wife, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go play board games in a basement in Flint." And she was like, "Okay." Oh, if they tell you this is where we make the chili, just run. Alright, a little bit green there. Okay. I'm a little happier with that. It gives them a little bit of pop. So now, while I'm thinking about the spears, I'm going to go through and do a little gold dot. Let me shake that up some more on all their icons. I know I gotta go on road trips and see all these fun places I've never heard of before. Yes, Othelios, I will road trip over to you guys, New York, one of these days. Forgot these guys have icons on the side of the bikes. Just do Alt. Alt. Okay. Now for visors. I stuck my finger right in the paint. Ooh, that sounds like fun. I can't. Don't mind me. I'm just having a moment. Bleh. Where is my very shiny silver? Where are you? Where are you? I realize my music. Now I realize my music shut off. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I mean, I know this makes great live streaming while I'm just looking for a paint. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, it's a little shiny, but there it is. What am I going to paint something big like a Bane blade? Well, I mean, when I have an army that requires a Bane blade. This one. A Tau Manta. Sure. We get right on that. It doesn't really show on the bike. We'll just do it on the spears. Yeah. Yes, I have seen the guy making the absolutely huge Imperator Titan. That's woo. Well, yeah, I don't know how big he's going to make it, but I do remember, this is a bit of old hobby lore. There was one guy who built an Imperator Titan back in, like, I want to say 1999. And it was legit, like, with all the towers and stuff on top, it was like 9 feet tall. And no idea whatever happened to it, but that thing would pop up in such random places. Like, you'd see it in just, like, random magazines. Like, it would just be there. It would take, like, 2 streams. Yeah, if I was doing it with just spray paint. Alright, it is wash time. And we're going to get on our wash brush. And we're going to see what we come up with here. Blam. All right. Oh, back in the day, we had to make all this stuff ourselves. Yeah, Minwax and oil paints and alcohol inks. Yup. I used to know the phrase because in an art class they broke it down once to me that it like painting something black first and then painting the colors up from there is actually an art form developed by the Greeks. And this guy ended up giving me an entire art history lesson while I was standing inside of a Walmart buying black primer. And it was an interesting day. Now, there was a time because I was like, I went to an art school. I was trained in classical art and all different types of techniques and stuff. There was a time where I was really into, I was hired to do Greek Orthodox tile mosaics. Don't ask, it was a weird time. I can't even remember how I got started with that. But, oh yeah. Starting with black, then we had to mix our own pigments for some of the tiles, and then gold leaf involved, and oh, it's so involved. Yeah, I'm sure there's still a couple of Orthodox churches up in, well, southern New York that probably still have my tiles up on the wall. Oh yes, trust me. There was a lot of. I did a whole lot of stuff before I met you, Ophelios. Because my papu was the deacon of his local Orthodox church. And I did some things for him over summer. I was like, yay, I'm going to have fun and do this. Next thing you know, I was being hired out to every church in the area. And there was one that I did that was like 35 foot tall. That took me, well, it felt like forever, but it only took me like 3 months. And I did that for a while, but then I started to realize where the term starving artist came from because, of course, getting paid sometimes just Well, on one of them, it just never happened. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm out. Okay, let those dry for half a second here before we start eyeballing them. Ooh, Stations of the Cross. Ooh. I bet you those would look pretty interesting painted. Paint them like train and bus stations. Complete with their own filth. No. No, we got a couple of Catholic churches up here that are like in parks. So I get to see some cool stuff they've done. All right, that's done there. All right, let's. I hope that's not wet paint on my fingers. We'll find out. So let's pull it over. There we go. It came out pretty okay. We're gonna let this dry a little bit more. Let's get this pool of stuff off of there. There we go. And then I got like 40 more bikes to do for this army, so expect more on Thursday. And then, like usual, I'll wait until the end when I have all of them painted until I do the bases. Still not sure what I'm going to be doing for the bases. I mean, they're green, so it's going to have to be some kind of a... Needs more pink. Good Lord. It's going to have to be some kind of a woodland thing with them, or at least some grass. Maybe some dirt and grass. I don't know. But yeah, guys, we are done for tonight. And dirt. Yep. So I've once again outrun my printer. And then next thing to do, back on the Turnip 28 train, I've just put my melee squad together. So these in the future, or maybe I might paint these on a weekend or something when I'm not doing the stream. But Turnip 28, one of these days, we're slowly building up a force of those. And once I get the troops done, it's going to have fun getting into the weird stuff. So, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope you all have a good rest of the night, a good rest of the week, and I'll see you again on Thursday. But until then, keep your brushes wet, keep on painting, always be creative. And I hope you're having fun playing OPR wherever you are. Talk with you later. Bye-bye.